So, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I, unfortunately, love Warframe. There are obvious problems with the game. The Eximus rework that Angels of the Zariman gave us ruined crowd control frames like Limbo. Angels of the Zariman was also overall a really disappointing update. The Veilbreaker update did more damage to AoE weapons than necessary. Like, there are better ways to get rid of the Wukong and Kuva Brahma meta. Veilbreaker also introduced Archon hunts, which are absolutely fucking terrible. Lewis Prey, despite bringing the best Warframe in the game, was also disappointing in terms of lore, and also, despite Conjunction Survival being fun, it's the most unoriginal mode in the game. But despite all of this, the game really does hold a special place in my heart. I've poured an obscene amount of time and money into the game on my PC account alone. I frequently use Warframe gameplay in the outros of my video essays. A recent shitpost video greatly outperformed my best video ever. I'm still mad about that. Playing this game with my friends was some of the most fun I've had recently.
I can actually explain the logistics of Bruna and how she is very good for survivability. None of you would hear me out. You just call me a fucking furry and leave it at that.
Because you are.
Fuck you! Fuck you! I can't fucking win with you guys.
And Digital Extremes recently released an update that I've been excited for 4 years, the Duviri Paradox. I still remember when Duviri was revealed back in TennoCon 2019, and we were all wondering who that bearded guy was and how we got his Tigress. 3 years later, I played through the new war, learned about the Drifter, and my excitement peaked. I also remember the Duviri Amphitheater in TennoCon 2022, and what a glorious shit show Relay Chat was. Now here we are, and all our questions will be answered. Here is my review for Warframe the Duviri Paradox. Side note, my next review was originally going to be on Resident Evil 4, but I haven't been getting any gameplay footage. I got it 3 weeks after it released, and I kinda put it on the back burner for now. But if I ever want to get around to making a review of it, I will. Also, because this is an update to a game, I'll get rid of the technical stuff section that I had in my Wo Long review, so I'll just talk about the story and gameplay. Alright, let's begin. The Duviri Paradox is Warframe's latest expansion. It brings the game's fourth open world, the Plains of Duviri, and the game's latest cinematic quest, the Duviri Paradox. Taking place anywhere, really, the main protagonist is the Drifter. The Drifter is stuck in a time paradox, constantly trapped in a loop of life and death in the Plains of Duviri. The main antagonist is Dominus Thrax, the Child King. After dying so many times, the Drifter finally has a way to break the paradox. I want to put something into perspective. The last 4 updates for Warframe were Angels of the Zariman, Veilbreaker, Lewis Prey, and Citrane's Last Wish. If these 4 updates have something in common, it's that the lore was fucking terrible. The Angels of the Zariman quest sacrificed all lore potential just to explain the new game modes, which sucks because there is an entire ARG leading to the update. Veilbreaker's quest was much better, but it only lasted 1 mission and did nothing to answer the question from the new war that it was supposed to answer. Varuna's Lavarian was pretty cool, but nothing about Conjunction Survival was explained. Why does the Worm Queen want Varuna so much? We at least know why the Grineer want Belric and Rania. Till Rhaegor says it himself. They have the perfect genes for his tube men. But then why do the Corpus want them? So Alan-V can create shit with them? With that put into perspective, my expectations for this quest were through the roof. And honestly, it's pretty good. And pretty bad. The world building in Duviri is good. Dominus Thrax is a unique and threatening villain. All the supporting characters who have their stories told through the mood cycles like Bombastine, Mathila, and Lodin especially are all great to listen to.
Everyone hates me! And guess what? I hate myself more!
And I really did enjoy the quest. There was one part near the ending I'm gonna leave out for spoilers, but I thought it was really badass. But now we have to get into my biggest problem with the story. Why did they make this an alternate starting point? This quest pretty much spoils every single big plot twist the game's had in its various cinematic quests. The reveal of the Operator in the Second Dream, the Zariman 10-0, which up to this point was a huge mystery. Hell, the Drifter himself was a plot twist in the new war. I guess they probably did this to get more player retention, and also paradoxes start at the end. but in doing so they essentially said fuck you to any fresh installs that want to hop on the Warframe path. So for brand new players, if they choose the Paradox path, their best bet is to either completely forget about the quest or just avoid the Warframe path altogether. So yeah, depending on where you start your journey, it can either be perfectly fine or downright confusing. For the 4-year veteran, it's perfectly fine. The Duviri Paradox is a roguelike experience which is completely different from Warframe's original MMO looter shooter style. Warframes are mostly sidelined in Duviri, instead putting a focus on the Drifter. Your hub world is Teshin's Cave, and this is where you'll be able to permanently upgrade your Drifter. You can upgrade intrinsics, which are the staple permanent upgrades roguelikes have. You can also choose between 3 randomized Warframes and weapons, and complete various roguelike runs. That's about the gist of it. There's a lot more to do, but all of it is very in-depth and I only want to give a brief overview. I know that at the moment this is a very controversial opinion, but I actually really like the Drifter combat in Duviri. It might just be my natural love for hack and slashes that makes me like anything melee based, but it's not bad at all. Sure, it could be better considering we waited 4 years for this update, but it definitely could be worse. It does take a bit to get used to, but once I got the hang of it, I found myself having a lot of fun. Another positive is that I love the Aura Worm boss fight. Jumping across the worm with my Orbeus made me feel like a badass. The fight itself doesn't rely on overly gimmicky bullshit like the Profit Taker. It also isn't needlessly difficult like the Archons. It's overall a really satisfying way to end a spiral. On the topic, the Duviri experience is also a good way to kill time. Despite each spiral lasting about half an hour, I never feel like I'm wasting time even when I'm doing side objectives. The main objectives are really close to each other and are usually pretty quick. When you occasionally travel to the Undercroft, it provides a nice change of pace. My only issue is that the defense portions tend to drag on, but the rest of them are pretty fun. Speaking of the Undercroft, the circuit is also pretty fun. I like how there's the option to farm for Warframes through the circuit. Some frames in the game have farms that are just awful. Ash and Grendel. And in this game, you're encouraged to farm for frames twice, once for Mastery and once for Helmet. So providing an alternate way to get them that's both quick and fun is great. If I'm being honest, my biggest gripe with the gameplay is that the Steel Path circuit even exists. Apart from the Incarnate Genesis system, there's really no reason to go for it. Acolytes don't spawn and you'll earn Steel Lenses until tier 9, so unless you're willing to sit through a 2-hour long Steel Path circuit for the Incarnate Brand Prime, it's just not worth it. Also, the only weapon and Warframe builds you get that are actually Steel Path viable are the ones you made, so if you end up rolling shitty weapons, you're probably going to be miserable, even in a full party. Despite the flaws this update has, I still really enjoy it. Was it worth the 4-year wait? Kinda. Part of this update does feel like it's just supposed to be a tech demo for Digital Extreme's other project Soulframe, but it has enough charm to stand out on its own. Apart from the gameplay and the story, the cosmetic options are also good. The Drifter Lone Rider suit is my new favorite. I'm not a fan of Wisp Deluxe helmet, but I like the base skin and it mixes well with some of her other helmets. Overall, this update did deliver. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Fuck you, Jedi Survivor, and goodbye.